So having absolutely my entire life in Notion is not my goal. I prefer to use To-Do for tasks, iCal for my calendar, Day One for journaling, You Need a Budget for budgeting, Goodreads for book tracking. I just think those apps are better for those purposes, and that if you use a single app for everything, it's necessarily going to be bad at some of those things. What is Notion great at though? Databases. So I have used Notion to create a gigantic inventory of everything that I own. So the properties for each item in here are of course the name, the category, the subcategory, whether I need to buy it again, who owns it, if the owner is not me, I'll explain more later, where it was purchased and the price that I bought it for if that's important to me. For clothing, I also have the additional brand and size categories. For books, I have author, and then I have some special traveling moving properties. So if I'm going on a trip and I want to bring this coat, then I check the box pack. Then I can go to a filtered view of my database. This is exactly what I did for my Japan trip. And I have this super easy packing list sorted by categories. And this checkbox means that I pack the item, that I put it in my suitcase, and then it brings it to the bottom of the list. Whenever I'm moving or traveling with a lot of stuff, I also write down the box or suitcase that the thing is in. So if you look at the inventory now, it's sorted by box because in 2 weeks from filming this video, I move into my new apartment in Madrid. So I want to go box by box and make sure that everything that was in the box actually was still in the box. If I throw something away or donate it or sell it, I check gone so that I don't see it in this inventory anymore, but it's still somewhere in the Notion void, so that at some point in the future, if I'm like, where is that coat? Did I just misplace it, or did I give it away to someone? I can't remember. I can go in and check. Or if someone wants to buy the same coat as me and they're wondering if they're getting it at a good price, I can go in and check what I paid for it. So then I have different views up here. I showed you that this is my Japan travel packing list. This is only for my books, only for clothing, makeup products, and the different notebooks that I have. I know this looks like it takes a lot of effort, and some of you might be wondering, why would anyone do this? It is super helpful when you're moving between places. I study in Spain, but I also come home to the US pretty often, so I want to remember what I have where. It also helps me to not accidentally buy things that I might already have, especially little home things like a tape measure or a screwdriver or things like that. It's a very convenient place to digitally store manuals that you might have for appliances and things like that. And if you're moving into an apartment that already has some stuff like kitchen tools, for example, I find it really helpful to put that in my inventory but mark it as my landlord stuff so that I don't forget to bring home what's mine once I move out, but also not take any of my landlord's things. And then just when you thought it couldn't get any worse and any more complicated, she goes and she makes a page for every room. So I call this my adulting dashboard because really the main thing that I use Notion for is to manage my home and try to maintain order within it. So let's open up the kitchen page. So I have this checklist of the basic things that you would stock a kitchen with. This is very helpful when moving into a new place. And then this I'm super proud of. I think it's very cool. I have a linked view of my inventory database. This shows only kitchen items that are supplies, meaning things that can run out, and only if they are gone. I also grouped everything by subcategory so that it's more organized. And this column is a checkbox for the buy property. So basically I scroll through, I see that these are all the cleaning supplies that I no longer have, and I don't have anything right now because I'm living at home and I'm moving in 2 weeks. And if I decide I need to buy some all-purpose cleaner, I need to buy some laundry detergent and a mop head. And we will see very soon where these items end up. This is almost the same, except it only shows me things that I have. So then if I check this box, that means I ran out of it. And the only thing I have right now is toothpicks. It's very sad. And then I just have a list of all my non-consumables, so appliances, cookware, tableware, etc. The bathroom page is basically the same. I have things that I might need to buy more of, things that I currently have that I might run out of, and then all of the non-consumables. And then the living room and the bedroom pages are basically just inventories. They're not very interesting. Okay, now we're moving on to the household section. This is maybe my favorite part. I already love grocery shopping, and this Notion database makes it like a game for me. So this is the groceries page. First, I just have a table of grocery stores in Madrid. And then this is where we get to the really exciting part. You might think none of this is exciting, and that's okay. But for me, this is very exciting. Everything in here is also a part of my inventory database, but we are filtering only the items that are in the food category. Then I sort by subcategory, what kind of food it is, and then in alphabetical order. So here I have all the different food products that I've ever bought, along with price comparisons from different grocery stores. So the way I name this is I have the name of the product, the variety, the brand name, and then the size of it. And so when you follow this like standard naming procedure and you don't, for example, write bell peppers one time and then peppers comma bell another time, you can actually see all the same food products side by side and be able to easily compare the prices at different stores. So you know I'm gonna be getting my soy milk at Mercadona. So basically when it's time for a shopping trip, I go through this entire list. If I need something, I check buy. If I need to buy something that I've never bought before, for example, salami, then I just make a new page for that and I'll fill in the store and the price later. So then everything that we've been checking to buy ends up here. This shopping list will include everything. It'll have all the food that I need to buy, all the cleaning supplies, any item that had that box checked. I have two different views, so I can either group things by category or by store. And then on my phone, on the Notion app, I have this page favorited, so it's super easy to find it. Pull up this list on my phone and have a grand old time doing my grocery shopping. I'm pretty basic when it comes to cooking, so I don't have a whole lot in here, but it is nice to have all of my go-to recipes in one place, and then I have them grouped by the kind of meal that it is. Basically, I'll tag the website that I got it from, and then I also like to just paste the recipe directly into here so that I don't have to be doing too much clicking. This just has some information about my current internet and phone plan. In the cleaning page, you're already familiar with the structure. I have a list of all the cleaning supplies that I might need to buy again and any that I already have. And then these are fun. These are checklists of cleaning tasks that I want to be doing every day, every week, every month, and every 3 months. Every day is pretty simple. I just want to not wake up to dirty dishes. Every week is a little more complicated, but this routine works really well for me. I think it used to take me like, I don't know, 2 hours every week, and then my apartment would feel good as new. And then every month and every 3 months, I basically have the weekly cleaning routine plus additional things. Okay, we covered a lot of information. This is a good checkpoint to get some water if you need it, but rest assured that everything from here on out is going to be a lot simpler. I have basically showed you all of my crazy databases. From here on out, most of the pages are just simple lists that I want to have easy access to. So that's why I like having it in Notion. I have this cute little garden of lessons where I like to write down the lessons that life teaches me, which I will probably forget. But hey, at least they're written down somewhere. I have my monthly budgeting routine in here. In the career page, I am currently doing this externship with Paragon 1, and so I have all of my stuff for that in here. I also saved what I wrote in the application for it in case any of it is useful for anything that I apply for in the future. I have a list of courses that I might want to take in here, and then I have a table for internships that I'm interested in. So I have the company, what the role would be, and then any notes. I have this cycle patterns page. I have a whole video about this, but basically I like to keep track of my menstrual cycle, not just when it's gonna start, but all the stages of it. So a lot of people like to refer to the phases as the seasons because it just maps very well to how you feel during each phase of the menstrual cycle. So I like to make notes of how I'm feeling mentally and physically and emotionally and everything so that I can prepare better for future cycles. This is also a really good book to read on that topic if you're interested. And I also have that video, like I said. I'm a big fan of home workouts, and so I have this database to keep track of all the different fitness videos that I've tried. And it's super nice because then in the future, when I'm looking for something to do, I have all of these tried and tested favorites, super easy to access. I also rate each one and how difficult it was so that then in the future I can find something that matches the intensity that I want. And then I also have a few other workout routines here. Then on the productivity section, I have a page for all the routines that I like to do. So I have my morning routine and my bedtime routine, and then all the other ones like how I spend some time organizing photos every week. I want to particularly point out this one. This one has a red line around it, and this means that it is a synced block. So you already saw this on my finances page. Basically, any edits that I make to this block are gonna sync to that page as well. Because it has to do with both routines and money, I wanted to have it on both pages, and I want to make sure that they're both edited at the same time. This page is referenced very often, as is my trigger list page, which is the list that I use when I'm doing my weekly planning and I'm trying to brain dump anything that I might have to do in the upcoming week. So this is just a list of like categories and responsibilities that I have to think about. Project time tracking, this is kind of a mess. I've been trying to do a better job of tracking how long an individual video or a newsletter or what have you takes to put together, because I can be a little overly optimistic about how much I can get done. And so when school starts and I have to inevitably make fewer videos, I want to use actual time data to decide how often I want to put out a video, how often is it actually feasible for me to do this much work. Digital toolkit is where I write down all of the various apps that I use. I also recently had to reset my computer. That's a whole nother story. But as I was re-downloading everything, I realized that there were so many different softwares that I had to reinstall. So in the future, if that ever happens again, I made this list to reference so that I don't forget to download anything. And then these are all the hard drives that I have and what is stored on each one. Finally, this is one that I haven't used that much. As you can see, I was using it at the start of the year and then not at all, and then I've started using it again. So this is a sort of second brain. If you're into the productivity YouTubes, then you've probably heard of this concept. It's basically just a place where anytime I read a book or an article or just see anything interesting, I put it in here to have all of this information and learning and inspiration in one place. And we finally made it to the last category, miscellaneous pages. So I have my bucket list, which I have organized by category. So I have fun things to do with friends, alone, date ideas. I have personal development, things to learn about, skills to learn, travel, which is pretty self-explanatory, and tasks that I would like to get around to someday. I have a gift ideas page, which is kind of a mess, but I think it's really helpful throughout the year. Anytime some idea for a cool, unique personal gift pops into your head for someone in your life, you write it down, and then by the time their birthday or whatever gift-giving holiday rolls around, you're not left scrambling for ideas. This is like a wish list of things that I want to buy. Honestly, the main purpose of this is to reduce consumption, because when I put something on this list, it kind of satisfies that desire to have the thing. Because I'm basically saying like, yeah, I'll consider it. I'm not gonna buy it now, but I'll consider it. And most of these things I never end up considering, but it makes me feel better to put it down here. And finally, I have some packing list templates. So like if I go on a trip for one night, you basically need to bring the same things each time. So this is way easier than trying to remember that list from scratch each time. So that's it. I hope you found this inspiring. You got some ideas for your own Notion setup. In addition to a tour, a lot of people have asked me to provide my setup as a template, and I've always felt weird about turning it into a template because I feel like it's just not that fancy. But honestly, now that I'm looking at the inventory and the shopping list and all that stuff, it's pretty cool. So in case you would find this helpful, I will turn it into a template and I'll put it in the description. And I hope that you can have as much fun with organizing your things and grocery shopping as I do. Thank you for watching this video and nerding out with me, and I will see you next week with a new video. Bye!